So it's an absolutely action-packed day. I'm going to go visit a friend. He's got a camera that I have to talk about on this channel. It's too good to not talk about. But I'm actually prepping for a shoot that I've got tomorrow at Rebel Sport. I'll be leaving this afternoon, so I do have a flight to Sydney. My whole studio is just in a mess. But let's go to the sunny coast to go visit my friend. We need to talk about this camera. Okay, finally coming here to see the Canon R6III. Jan's gonna give it to me. Oh, here it is. R6 Mark III, look at that. It's got a nice sort of top handle. It's quite large, but
pretty good.
yeah.
I like it.
How are you finding it?
It's good. It's been working quite well for me.
Let's go get it. So the Canon R6 Mark III has a 32.5 megapixel full frame sensor. It has the ability to do 7K 60 and 7K 30 frames per second raw open gate recording. It can also do 4K at 120 frames per second full frame. It's got 12 frames per second mechanical shutter and 40 frames per second with electronic shutter. It has CF Express Type B and SD cards. And the crazy thing, it comes in at $2,800 USD. So, how is this view? I'm literally sitting in Airbnb, pretty much at Bondi Beach in Sydney, and this is phenomenal. I'm down here in Sydney shooting for Rebel Sport. Incredible shoot today. I'm absolutely knackered, but I really needed to talk about the Canon R6 Mark III. This camera, look, there's no doubt, this camera is incredible. Like, I can't say that it's not, because that's an absolute lie. It's an incredible camera. And I do believe that this camera is probably the camera of the year. Like, it's 7K 60 frames per second. It can do 7K 30 frames per second raw open gate. That is already incredible for Canon, because this is their first sort of consumer-based camera that can do open gate recording. And it's a really massive step towards something really good for the future. And obviously Sony can't do that right now. But we are at the brink of an A7 IV release, well, potentially, is what the rumors are saying. So who knows if that camera is going to be getting it. So this is my second Canon that I've ever had on this channel. Had the, was it the R5C on here first. Interesting experience. Wasn't really used to any of the menus, but I've got Jan here with me now, and he's going to be helping me through these menus. Any kind of menu system you start getting used to. Nikon's, I understand, is probably one of the worst. It's very convoluted. There's a lot in there. You have to deep dive. Sony's actually isn't as bad, especially with the new menus. These ones, perfectly fine. Just not used to that D-pad, not sort of pressing in. But I guess you just got to get used to the wheel.
Yeah, just wheel it around.
But I mean, like, this wide doesn't seem like there's any wobbles. Like, can you guys see any wobbles in the corners? I'm not really walking, if I did some walking. But I mean, who vlogs like this these days anyway? Everyone puts their camera down on a tripod and vlogs that way. So, yeah, interesting. I love the autofocus on the eye. Can you select an eye, or?
You can, it's on auto now.
Ooh.
But you can select left, right, or no preference.
Man, this is so flat.
Yeah, that's C-Log 2 now.
And one of the things that a lot of people have been wanting for a long time is C-Log 2 in these type of cameras. And the R6 Mark III has C-Log 2. Now, there's a massive difference between C-Log 2. I did test it out, and it's extremely flat. And I'm not used to that, but still, once you grade it, it looks incredible. Obviously, S-Log 3 just doesn't look as flat, but still, once you grade it, it looks incredible as well. If you have a really strong 10-bit 422 file, you can make it look however you want. But the great thing about this camera, it offers that raw internal, 7K raw internal into the camera, and then an open gate 3x2 sensor. What's your favorite features about it?
Well, definitely all the video options that we have that are not even in some of the other higher end bodies in the Canon lineup. So that was definitely impressive, like open gate, 7K, 4K 60 oversampled. So that was very impressive. And then just obviously for me, for photos, it was also really nice, 40 frames per second, and just, yeah, pretty good overall. Very good autofocus.
Because it's what, 2,800 US 3,000?
Yeah, it's about 4,200 Aussie and 2,800 US, so
We'll put the price
pretty decent
here.
No, so pretty decent overall. I think lots of value for money really, and a big upgrade over like an R6 Mark II, for instance.
Give me your 2 down points, 2 bad points that for you personally.
Well, one thing obviously, not having a stacked sensor means we're dealing with a little bit of rolling shutter. So if we're panning fast or something, you still see sort of straight lines kind of bending in some directions. And then I don't know how much of a downside it is, but when I was filming consecutive clips in like 4K 60 oversample, eventually, even in this kind of weather, it got fairly hot. And I think if it had been a hot sunny day, we may have actually had some issues with the overheating. But I think overall, I thought it was very impressive.
Because just no active cooling, it's just passive cooling?
No, there's no active cooling in the body. But I noticed if I open the screen, obviously, that helped cooling it a lot. And unlike other cameras that seem to get really hot on the right-hand side, this one seemed to get a lot hotter sort of on the back. So opening this screen actually seemed to help a lot. And then if you give it a break, it cooled down like really, really fast as well. So that was good.
So that's with like the CF Express Type Bs as well?
Yeah, exactly. They get obviously hotter in the camera as well, but then especially for photos, it writes so much faster to that card, which is great. And obviously having like open gate that has pretty big files, you need that fast card as well.
So look, without a doubt, the Canon R6 Mark III has to be the camera of the year. Like 2,800 US for the crazy specs that it actually offers. Like 7K up to 60 frames per second. It's got 4K at 120 frames per second full frame. Like that's just incredible, and rolling shutter is phenomenal. But it also has like a regular 4K mode that's got 4K fine and then 4K standard. So the 4K fine is some sort of oversampled from that 7K sensor down to the 4K, which is kind of like what the FX2 does. It has a 7K sensor that downsamples to 4K, giving you really nice high crisp resolution in that 4K file. But this has 7K 30 with open gate recording. Now, my Sony cameras right now don't do open gate. The only Sony camera that does open gate is the Sony Venice, and you're going to have to spend a crazy amount of money to be able to afford a Sony Venice. And by then it's too big of a camera. This is consumer-based cameras like the Lumix. Like the Lumix cameras are now offering open gate. Like Lumix cameras have been offering open gate for forever, and people are loving it, and the people are wanting open gate. So hopefully Sony are going to give it to us, and Canon have stepped in the right direction with the R6 Mark III. Obviously the C50 has just come out a few weeks ago, and now the R6 Mark III has that same sensor. It almost seems like a better purchase. Like obviously if you're doing long record times, it doesn't have a fan. So you're going to go for the C50 because it has that fan, longer record times, and it's just going to be more reliable in professional situations where you require long record times, and obviously just a reliable video camera. But the C50 doesn't have IBIS. The R6 Mark III has IBIS.
Yeah, tell us about the autofocus. Do you want to show us that thing?
Well, I can. I'll send it to you so you can show it bigger on screen.
Yeah.
But of course, now where we are.
So it was like, so they've got like a control app.
Yeah, Canon Camera Connect app, and you can control your whole camera over the phone.
There you go, and it's got a box around you. So how far?
I'm probably between like 30 to 50 meters away. So I put the camera on one mountain, walked all the way through a little valley onto the other side. It's staked to connect it to my phone, and then it can actually find me when I'm like literally 10 pixels large in the viewfinder. And that was definitely very impressive. And that's something that happened with the newest generation like R1, R5 II, and now most likely R6III as well. It doesn't connect to the phone yet, so we don't know entirely, but I would expect it to do the same.
And I thought
right? It would, and that's definitely very impressive for me with the video autofocus. Then it makes it really easy to use if you're just gunning it by yourself, trying to get something. If you can actually rely on the autofocus that it finds you even that far away.
How's it been with like your bird photography? Has there been any issues or anything, or?
No, I think it was phenomenal. It was really good also for stills and video as well, obviously. And then, yeah, I don't really have any complaints when it comes to the autofocus. I think it finds your target, stays on it very well. Obviously, video autofocus is always a little bit harder with bird, especially if it's fast action. Like, it's so hard to even keep it in the viewfinder and keep it stable. So it's usually something that's either you set up a shot and then you just have something sort of fly through your frame, that works really well, or you track something that's a little bit slower. But for the photos, for instance, I got like some ospreys fishing in the ocean and stuff, and I was able to basically track that the whole time. So that was really good.
Have you tried, you know how like some of the older cameras, 4K 100 didn't have autofocus? Has that got autofocus in this, 4K 100?
It does have autofocus. It just doesn't have sound, I think, but it does have autofocus.
Yeah. Now, I must admit, the one thing that the Canon camera does lack that the Nikon ZR has just got is that 32-bit float recording when it comes to the audio. And that is a very phenomenal feature, an incredible one for a lot of filmmakers, because sometimes you just get to this point where you've set all the audio points and then someone decides to yell, talk a little bit louder, laughs, and the audio clips. You just don't want that happening in a professional situation, and it would just be amazing to see that in these kind of cameras. That's where the Nikon ZR have done incredibly well to add that internally into the camera. But look, in all honesty, when we compare the Canon R6 Mark III to the competition around this kind of price range, I mean, the Lumix S1 II happens to be, I guess, the closest when it comes to these type of specs. You know, the Nikon ZR is incredible for the type of specs it has. It is at a cheaper price, but you don't get the 4K 120 full frame. It's a DX crop, so it's a little bit cropped there, and you don't have open gate. So it just seems like if you do want to spend just that little bit more, you're going to get a very, very well-rounded camera that will suit a lot of photographers and definitely a lot of videographers as well. This kind of just seems like the sweet spot camera. It's like, dare I say it, it's an FX3 killer. Like, it has those kind of specs that you're just like, wow, that is incredible. And this is definitely a camera to consider. So, Jan, good to see you. Where can the peeps find you?
Yeah, just YouTube or Instagram, just my name, Jan Wegener. Always thought it's easy, but it's Jan and then Wegener. That's hopefully easier to spell. And yeah, just have a look. I shoot mainly wildlife, birds, all that kind of stuff. But we also like to hang out sometimes.
In German, is it actually Wegener?
Be like Jan Wegener in German.
There you go.
But here, especially in Australia, I have to drag it really far out. Otherwise, people think I'm just some strange old lady.
You gotta go Wegener.
Yeah, and Jan. If I say like Jan, people say what? And then most people just think it's Jan, and then they think I'm like a grandma. So always fun times.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you for sure.
But yeah, what a day, what a camera, what a year for Canon to really cap it off. What will Sony do? What will Nikon do? What are the answers? Thanks for watching, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it.